Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and for the last 2 years, from the guys in traditional finance like Jamie Dimon, those guys, we were told what they tried to tell us that it was that yes, blockchain is a great technology and it's going to be a thing in finance, but not cryptocurrency. This is what we were told, right? Over and over and over. They pounded this drum over and over and over. He told us Bitcoin was a fraud and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, we found out he was developing the JP Morgan coin behind the scenes, right? So today, I ran across a tiny little piece of video from Glenn Hutchins that I had never seen. And I'm going to show that to you at the end of this video. But before I do that, I'm going to take you through, after I show you a few other pieces of news items, I'm going to take you from Jamie Dimon and then show you something Ashish Burl said the other day, and then kind of take you through and let you see it's all about cryptocurrencies. There is no blockchain without, it's always been about cryptocurrencies. And I'm going to finish it and I'm going to show you a clip where Glenn Hutchins, who I'll go back through who he is, that he tells you that in the next 2 years, that you're going to see the application, not of blockchain, but of cryptocurrencies in finance. And he even makes a comment, something to the effect that people are going to realize where this is going at that point. So, but first I wanted to start with a few pieces that I thought were interesting today. This is Blythe Masters. She was the one that literally, I think she created the derivatives at JP Morgan. Then she left JP Morgan post-financial crisis, went and formed Digital Asset Holdings. She's no longer there now, but she is the one that went out to literally put JP Morgan in the blockchain game. Okay? And this is her speaking at DTCC. Watch this.
But I think of it as about being related to building bridges and tunnels into and out of the new digital world, and those bridges and tunnels have to link to the world of the status quo, or we will end up with exactly the situation that was mentioned earlier, where you have fragmentation of markets and even more complexity and increased illiquidity relative to the alternative. So the building of bridges and tunnels to connect existing assets into a digital rendition is important, and who more important and who better situated than an incumbent centralized service provider of that nature.
But all day long, including from what I started my first speech, we talk about the need for cooperation and everybody being collaborative, and this is a technology that will work if the industry bands around it.
Yep.
Do we have a chance?
Yeah, no matter what the good intentions are of an industry or participants thereof to set standards, to agree on things on an a priori basis, it's really difficult to do that until you actually start trying to use a technology or run a business in the context of whatever the task in hand actually is. What is the major obstacle to adoption here? And everybody correctly cites lack of standardization or the challenge of reaching standards as an obstacle. That's correct. But I believe that equally, without trying, you don't have the ingredients that will propel organizations to reach and create forums to reach standards. You've obviously seen during the course of the last year to 18 months the first serious undertakings in terms of multi-party trials of this technology, albeit in an mostly experimental context. But that has led directly to collaborative work, whether it was the multi-bank, multi-technology provider experiment conducted by R3 recently, which has been mentioned a couple of times, non-trivial organizational undertaking.
Right. There's part one. And by the way, this is from the guy that's on fire. XRP Yo-Yo has been recording all sorts of interesting things. And here's the second clip.
Versus simply going to be cheaper, faster, easier to use type of changes.
It's going to be both.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody else made a comment earlier, you know, the analogies to the internet are overdone, and there's some element to that. But if you think back to how you were thinking about the internet broadly defined sometime in the early 1990s, we were all asking ourselves, those of us that were aware enough to realize, you know, what did this mean, and who would be the winners and who would be the losers? And the net result is there were some massive winners, there were some massive losers, and the vast majority of people had to adapt and adopt. For example, every financial institution on the planet provides its customers with online financial services today, and if you don't, you basically don't have a business.
Yeah.
So everybody had to adapt and adopt, and some people did go out of business. Whether, you know, you're talking about media or other businesses, is really not the point. There's a strict analogy here, I think.
Yeah. Without a timeline, what do you see in the future? If I said, what was going to be the tipping point? What would you imagine all of a sudden that's the aha moment where, you know, distributed ledgers / blockchain have truly had an impact on the industry? What would be that moment in your eyes?
It will. I mean, I think we've already had some. I think the embracing of existing large international financial firms of opportunities or risks in this space, as manifested by their investment in companies, their investment of time and resources in technology, their joining of open source projects. Those are all important, really important milestones that shouldn't be ignored. I think the creation of consortiums to focus on areas of mutual opportunity, I think that's another one. But looking forward, I think probably the most important event will be the first deployment or deployments of this technology in a real commercial setting.
If anybody's going to be deployed in a commercial setting sooner rather than later, it is Ripple. Period. And everybody knows it. Now, let's remind you where digital asset holdings comes into play. Here's the chart. The Everest from NTT Data. Everest chart. Interledger enabling interoperability across platforms. Here's digital assets. She mentioned R3, right? All of everything you're looking at right here was the formation of consortiums that she was referring to. That's what R3 is, a consortium. This is like consortiums within consortiums, but what's at the center of it all? The XRP ledger. All right. Ripple tweeted this out. I'm not going to go into it other than to show you. You can go and download this report. Small and medium-sized enterprises are increasingly relying on cross-border payments, but their needs aren't being met. Our white paper takes a deeper look at the growing global SME market. And then Ripple's been tweeting out a few things lately. I missed this the other day. Get ready for Reimagine 2020 starting May 18th. Warren Paul Anderson from Ripple. He's developer relations at Ripple. He's going to be at this. This is another one of these virtual conferences. I just want to show you where it is. You can find this at ri2020.io, Reimagine 2020. And I just wanted to show you some of the people that were going to be at this thing. Apparently, it's a big deal. Brock Pierce, Anthony Pompliano, Roger Ver. Let's see if I recognize any others. You got someone from here, Hedera Hashgraph. Ripple's one of the sponsors of this thing. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty big deal. Next. Okay. Now I want to take you on a stroll. This was for really all of 2000. Now remember, 2018, if there's two things 2018 represented, it was scare tactics in the traditional financial media about how crypto is going away, it's going to be illegal, it's a fraud, it's this. Meanwhile, we knew that all over the counter, the institutional investors were buying Harvard endowment, Yale endowment, everybody, all these huge money people were buying behind the scenes, and it wasn't a secret, but we were being fed scare tactics like this.
JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon has been a reluctant Bitcoin basher. He called the cryptocurrency a fraud back in September of last year, but he later said he regretted his choice of words. A year ago, he said he wasn't going to talk about Bitcoin anymore, but then yesterday at an Axios conference in L.A., he was asked about changing his mind on Bitcoin.
I never changed what I said. I just regret having said it. I didn't want to be the spokesman against Bitcoin. I don't really get it. That's the point, okay? And blockchain is real, it's technology, but Bitcoin is not the same as a fiat currency.
So that was his whole slogan. Blockchain is something, and then crypto, Bitcoin, all that's nothing. Well, this past week, Ashish Burla had tweeted this, and this was basically addressing that very thing. It was May 7th he tweeted this. But when people tell me blockchain but no crypto, in other words, he's saying that was a false narrative all along. It's always been crypto. And I'm going to show you a Glenn Hutchins tweet in a few minutes that where he tells you the implementation into real finance. And I believe Ripple is the one that's going to lead the way into this. It's going to be the implementation of real crypto in real finance. And I believe that you're about to see the ultimate wave of that. So Ripple tweets this out, and then this is another example of it. SVP of Spring, Ethan Beard, discusses the true potential of blockchain for payments innovation and how developers are building on it today. This is from some magazine, but Panda Ripple XRP found the best quote out of it, with 70% of finance executives stating that cryptocurrencies will be part of the future of finance. There has never been a better time to be a developer in this space, literally building the future from the blockchain up. And he goes, whoa, 70%. 70%. They're not saying that blockchain will be a part of the future of finance. They're saying cryptocurrencies. It's always been cryptocurrencies. You can't have one without the other. It's always been about cryptocurrencies. Now, remember, I like to always remind you who Glenn Hutchins is. He's a board member at the Digital Currency Group, which is one of the first investors in Coinbase and Ripple. They also have Larry Summers on the board. But Glenn Hutchins is one of the board members. He's also an investor in Ripple. This is from Bank XRP. Right here. Among his separate investments are Ripple. He owns Ripple. He's got some ownership in Abra, Chain, as well as Circle. Okay. This guy knows. He says, I'm the guy who's thinking about building companies, not much speculation in currency. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. They said something about gold there. But anyway, so he is an investor in Ripple. Now, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. He's on the board. He's a Class B director at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. That's a pretty big deal, pretty big position. He's also the guy that said this.
The digital currency solution is the most important technological advance I've seen since the internet. It has the capacity to do lots more, but it certainly has the capacity to enable us to move anything of value around the world at the speed of light at no cost. It has three components. It has a token of value, which is called the Bitcoin. It has a accounting mechanism, which is called the blockchain. But the most important piece, which is one that people aren't focusing on, is the protocol. The underlying protocol by which we agree to conduct these transactions. So you use a series of protocols every day, and you don't even think about it. You don't think about the internet protocol. You don't think about the simple mail technology protocol. You don't think about the file transfer protocol. You don't think about the high text translation protocol. I can go through them, right? You just make use of the technology, and the protocols make it work. The people who really understand what's going on with digital currencies understand that putting these protocols in place, the blockchain protocol, the Ethereum protocol, the Ripple protocol, the Ripple protocol, the Ripple protocol, and then enabling those protocols to cause transactions to occur. And those transactions can be defined very broadly as not just moving things of value, but anything that's got an information content is extraordinarily transformative. The focus on the value of the token is distracting and uninformative.
So maybe now.
All right, so we've shown that clip here before. Now, this is the clip I had not seen before. I don't know if anybody in the XRP community has ever found it before. If they have, I didn't see it. So I found this is from the International Economic Forum of the Americas, and it was uploaded, or I think it was on November 21st of 2019. So he references, in this clip right here, he's being asked what it is that he sees happening in financial technology in the coming years. And he talks about the first two, and then he gets to this one. Listen closely. I'm going to play this 2 or 3 times.
And it just gives you it's magical. It gives you some sense of what can be accomplished. And then additionally, I think in the next couple of years, we're going to see the first major implementations of some of the cryptocurrency technologies to the financial services industry in ways that are transformative. People will start to really understand the importance there. And then
Let's hear that again. Not the implementation of blockchain technology, cryptocurrency technology. Listen to that again.
It gives you it's magical. It gives you some sense of what can be accomplished. And then additionally, I think in the next couple of years, we're going to see the first major implementations of some of the cryptocurrency technologies to the financial services industry in ways that are transformative. People will start to really understand the importance there.
So people will really start to understand. And it's cryptocurrency tech. Now, who in the world has been at this longer than anybody else? Who has been working with regulators since 2012 that we know of? Nobody except for Ripple. Ripple has been at this before anyone else. If anybody is going to be at ground zero of the implementation of cryptocurrency technology, it is Ripple, who he invests in and knows all about. He knows about XRP. He knows what's about to happen. And here's what's going to happen, people. These friends and family years that have laughed at you and how's your XRP doing? Those people that have been laughing at you all these years and think that you don't know what you're talking about and that you made a mistake and you did, it's going to hit them right between the eyes, and they're going to be like, what in the world just happened? And so are you and I. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family if they want to go see this clip. It's at the 2250 mark on this video. Let's play that again just for fun.
What can be accomplished. And then additionally, I think in the next couple of years, we're going to see the first major implementations of some of the cryptocurrency technologies to the financial services industry in ways that are transformative. People will start to really understand the importance there.
Thanks for listening.